Try to tilt your pelvis a little bit further. Drive your knee down. So we have a decent stretch going on there.
In the glute, yeah.
Yes, in the outer hip. The key here is his pelvis anteriorly tilting. We're now opening up the adductor in extension rather than flexion. But why would we do that? If somebody has pinchy hips in flexion in a squat, what we just did makes the most sense, right? Because we open up the hip in this position. But if somebody can't find their glutes in a deadlift, they often have restriction in the adductor and they can't externally rotate back here. Right now, he is doing a glute bridge in external rotation and abduction. You feel the butt contributing to that. Yeah. So in a perfect world, he lengthens his inner thigh first. Now he's shortening the outer hip as a 1-2 punch. External rotation can be seen through like a side-lying position like this. But what contributes to external rotation? Let's think about that first. If you get in this position, which we're gonna do in a moment, you're gonna feel your inner thigh and you're gonna feel your glute max. So a combination of those two is what's gonna contribute to this upward motion. We're gonna talk about opening up range for this position and how the spine often compensates. I want you to see that if I let my spine slack, look how far up I can get my foot. Now watch what happens when I neutralize my spine relative to my foot. Did you see how much my foot dropped there? I'm gonna do that again. I'm up here. This is how far I can get. Watch my spine. You see how it's laterally flexed. Watch my foot as I drop my spine. You see how my spine is quite literally giving me fake external rotation. So just like with any hip training, the spine compensates the most, and then understanding that the adductor and the glute max is what's contributing to external rotation the most. So all the training drills we're gonna do is based around those two muscles. I want you guys on your side. You have 3 options though. Option 1 is the easiest, being in this position. You're gonna externally rotate and just hold. I want you to find your adductor. I want you to find your glute max. Just contract. You're doing an isometric hold. And the idea is that the longer you hold, the more tension is created. If you want to level it up, you're going to go on your elbow, neutralize the spine like a side plank, right? Externally rotate. This is more difficult. If you want to make it as hard as you can get, sit upright. That's even harder. I want everybody laying on one side, finding your adductor, finding the glute max. If you want to start in the easiest and work your way up, you can. If you want to stay in whichever position feels comfortable, it's up to you. So I'm going to put you guys on a timer, and I want you to start with just learning to find external rotation. And so we'll see here, like Antonio has a really hard time getting his foot up. You guys see how low his foot is relative to say like Isla's or Daniel's. He needs more range for ER. Do you guys feel your adductors firing? You feel glute max firing, outer hip. Let's hold that, contract it, just ramp it up. We're gonna treat this as like a primer, okay, your warm up, an activation exercise, whatever word you wanna use. I have you guys on a timer for 30 seconds. Let's go for another 30. A couple things of compensation. Don't let the knee come off the floor. Don't let the knee drift up. If you feel your spine laterally flexing, avoid that compensation. Tighten the core, put tension here. You see how your foot starts to drop? Your spine's not cheating. Give me more here. Try to pick this up even further. Beautiful. You guys got another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Regardless of how much range of motion you have, you felt the adductor and you felt the glute max. This is a good way for clients to prime their external rotation. Plain and simple, right? We have cars. I know you guys know cars. I'll teach you cars at some point, but that's another tool in your tool belt. I want you guys to flip sides and do the other leg to prime it, and then we're gonna pull open the hip and create more range. I generally have people open up external rotation when standing, and the reason for that is when he's in this position, this leg is in extension, this leg is in flexion. We're creating as much length between the two legs as possible. Whereas if I am stretching this here, this leg is in an extension. There's less length between the two legs. We're trying to literally pull them apart. So right now I have Taylor's right leg in extension, his left leg's in flexion. Things to look out for. His knee needs to be at 90 degrees. We want 90 degrees at joints because that's where leverage is had. So right now I have Taylor in external rotation. We're doing a basic pigeon pose, but I want you guys, you can put your hands here if you want to boost yourself up. I want you guys being mindful of what the pelvis is doing. If I ask Taylor to anteriorly tilt his pelvis, stick your butt up, not posterior tilt, anterior tilt. Yes. Are you able to get more length on your outer hip there when you do that?
Yeah.
Now hinge forward at the spine. So you're basically doing an RDL. We feel more length there. Try to tilt your pelvis a little bit further. Drive your knee down. So we have a decent stretch going on there.
In the glute, yeah.
Yes, in the outer hip. The key here is his pelvis anteriorly tilting. So we want glute max lengthening, right? I mentioned earlier that when you externally rotate, it's adductor and glute max, right? So this drill is geared towards opening range. The drill we did on here will not give you more range. You're in new space here. Now, if someone was really tight like Antonio, his leg will likely look like this, right? Because he doesn't have the ER to get into this position. So someone in his position has to put his foot lower. This table is too high relative to what his hip can do. And that's okay. We're meeting him where his hip is. So from here, I want you to lean forward as far as you can until you get a max stretch through here. So Taylor obviously has a lot of external rotation, right? Is static stretching a great use of his time? It's not a bad use, right? On his own time, but his time with the trainer, probably not. So rather than spending time stretching, he's gonna do an isometric here. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna start pushing his foot down. So right now, Taylor's pushing down through the ankle, and he's essentially internally rotating out of this externally rotated position. Do you feel your hip contract there?
Yeah.
So that's where the isometric is building strength at his end range of motion. He's gonna hold this, but keep the knee down. Keep pushing. If I said drive more tension into your outer hip, can you find more tension?
That would be external rotation, right?
More internal rotation. It's you're trying to drive through here. You're trying to internally rotate out of this position. But you're contracting your glute max at length. Does that compute?
Yeah, so am I feeling anything other than glute max?
No, you should not be.
Okay.
You should not be feeling any, because the glute max is lengthened, and you're tensing it in the lengthened position.
I got that.
That makes sense?
Yep.
We generally hold this for like a minute or so. And this is where we don't just static stretch. We're doing active work, right? We want active outcomes. You need to do active work for active outcomes. If you relax and just did passive work, you get passive outcomes. It's not wrong or bad, but it's not the whole picture, right? There's more to it than that. We opened up the glute max through the pigeon pose, right? Elevated. The other thing we can do is butterfly stretches or bear sits. We're gonna start in a bear sit position like this. We're gonna demo on Rachel. She's in a bear sit right now, which is essentially what? External rotation and abduction, right? We just worked this range on the table. We're now working in this range. Right now, her elbows are pushing down on her knees to create more length. If you guys are attempting this, you should feel that if you use your elbows to drive the knee down, you get more of an adductor stretch. So a moment ago, we just did the pigeon pose to open up the glute max. Now we're opening up the adductor to contribute to more range in external rotation. Because if the adductor is restricted, you won't be able to get out here. Do you guys feel your passive stretch with the elbows pushed down? In theory, she would hold this for like 2 minutes, an extended period of time. And then we're gonna add an isometric here as well, where she starts driving her knees up into her elbows. So if my hands were here and I'm saying push her knees against my hands, she feels her inner thigh now contracting rather than stretching. It's the same principle, right? It's an isometric at end range. Now she's gonna do the reverse and pull your knees away from your elbows. Her knees should be trying to clear her elbow here, and the tension should shift from the adductor to the glute max abductor. She's contracting lengthened tissue, then contracting shortened tissue. I want everybody getting into a bear sit, getting into position. Try to anteriorly tilt your pelvis. If you have a hard time with that, you have the freedom to put your back against a wall. That is an option. It's a training wheel. If it keeps you more strict, we can do that. If you can sit fairly upright and effectively lengthen the adductor, then that's fine, stay there. So what we're looking for ideally is, again, 90 degrees at the knee. In a perfect world, If you can't get that far, work within your means, right? Just like the other drill, your ego can get in the way of it. I'm putting everybody on a timer. You should be very intentionally driving down with the elbows. That should give you quite a bit of a stretch on the adductors. Hold it, breathe. Your timer's now going. This is your opportunity to static stretch. Focus on the pelvic tilt. If you anteriorly tilt, I'm sure you feel way more length on that adductor. Beautiful, a little bit more there, you got more? Awesome. You guys got 45 seconds, and then we'll go into a contraction. You guys got another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start driving your knees into your elbows, but don't let the elbows win.
Did you mean don't let the knees win or don't let the elbows win?
Don't let the knees win. Did I say elbows? Okay. I said don't let the elbows win, don't let the knees win. The knees should be pushing up into the elbows. Now do the reverse. Drive your knees out, away from the elbows, and use your butt to do so.
Are we still pushing with the elbows?
No. So the elbows stay still, gotcha. Drive apart.
Gotcha, yeah,
do you feel tension shift to the shortened position? So now you should feel your glute contracting to get deeper into that position. Hold the squeeze. Relax it. So again, real quick to recap on it. We found the end of external rotation abduction, right? We hold the stretch, we begin a contraction, right? My knees go up into my elbows like this, but I'm not letting myself. I'm creating a wall to facilitate the isometric. And then we do the reverse. When we do the reverse, in theory, there should be space between the elbow and the knee, and the tension should shift from the inner thigh to the outer hip. Does that make sense? Okay, the bear sit is one approach to this. The butterfly stretch is the other approach. We're doing a loaded stretch. You can also do isometrics here, right? How do we facilitate an isometric?
Push down.
Drive the knees up into the dumbbells. If you start driving the knees up into the dumbbells, what do you feel? You feel the adductors contracting. Hold that. Let's put everybody on a timer here and just contract. So if I come up and I'm pushing down, you're driving up against me.
What percent intensity, like 50?
Let's say 50. Let's say 50, that's a good question. Generally speaking, we start in the 50% range and then ramp it up about halfway through. You guys right now have your knee like this, in flexion, right? You're all sitting upright. But what about working the adductor in extension? Down here. You guys are now gonna lay on the floor backwards. Let's have Rachel lay back for a moment. And she's gonna put the dumbbells on her knees and hold this as best she can. We're now opening up the adductor in extension rather than flexion. But why would we do that? If somebody has pinchy hips in flexion in a squat, what we just did makes the most sense, right? Because we open up the hip in this position. But if somebody can't find their glutes in a deadlift, they often have restriction in the adductor and they can't externally rotate back here. So this is more specific to people who have issues with their hips when they're standing, when they're running, when they're deadlifting. Think about anything that requires hip extension, okay? So we're gonna have everybody lay down flat, do a loaded stretch, and we're also gonna do isometrics here. Should feel similar but different than what we just did. If you have a hard time feeling the stretch, sometimes the dumbbells need to go lower to the knee. If you are not tight here, then the loaded stretch isn't doing that much for you. And that's okay. That means you have space. So what do you do if you're not tight or you've been stretching for a long period of time? You contract. So now hold the dumbbells. Start driving your knees up, but if you need to hold your dumbbells down, hold them down. Do you feel your inner thigh now tensing to push up into my hand here? So feel my finger here? Push up against me. Now I'm gonna let go, don't lose that tension. Do you feel tension in the adductor at all? None? Sit there and try to find tension then. Taylor, if I said drive up, are you able to find tension in your adductors?
Definitely, yeah. I feel like kind of the internal rotators.
Yeah, internal rotators too, right? Because you're externally rotated, you have to internally rotate to get out of this position, which makes a lot of sense. So keep contracting, keep driving up. If you have a hard time generating tension, then that is what you need to focus on. You don't need space like these guys do. You need neurology. You need your nervous system to be able to utilize that tissue in this position. It's two different things. It's a different quality of movement. 2, 1, relax. I'm gonna go over what Taylor just did, which is a great idea. Stay put, Antonio. We just contracted lengthened tissue, right? Everything was done in the stretched position. But what about the shortened position? So what Antonio can do now, which we just saw Taylor doing, is a bridge in this position, a glute bridge. So with his feet together, pick your butt up off the floor as high as you can. Right now, he is doing a glute bridge in external rotation and abduction, right? You feel the butt contributing to that. So in a perfect world, he lengthens his inner thigh first. Now he's shortening the outer hip as a 1-2 punch. Okay? Hold, squeeze, lift the butt up. I'm putting you guys on a timer. We're finishing up with this, and then we're gonna do a recap. Get the butt up as high as you can and shorten this as much as you can. You cramping? Okay, get out of it and then get back into it. Squeeze. Thank you so much for watching the Bodybuilding Not Body Breaking YouTube channel. If you found it helpful, drop a comment, like, subscribe, share it with a friend or family. That stuff really helps us in expanding our reach to popularizing this training approach, because we know there just isn't a better way to do things. If you have interest in diving deeper into the stuff you just watched, feel free to join our school community. On our school community, we have a lot of additional content. We have an exercise library that has over 200 different movement options. We have programs. We have additional videos that are concepts, lectures, and rants to give you guys a deeper understanding as to how and why we do things. We also have a discussion board where you can get direct access to coaching feedback from me personally. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for additional updates for when we post new content. Thank you again for watching, and we hope it was of use to you.